I think you're one of the few people, especially on the Republican side, who has been a staunch advocate for civil liberties. You've been relentless. You've been fighting even Republican colleagues on it. And we see what's happening now, especially with the provisions to expand the IRS. We saw what happened under the Obama administration with the Tea Party and with other groups. And now we're seeing what can happen now potentially with us as one of the big jokes is like, why should the administration know every single thing about our life? Why should they be vested in every single aspect of our life? I mean, that's not the role of the federal government. Do you find it difficult in this day and age, especially post 9/11? I'm talking all the way from 9/11 on, to really get colleagues to understand that, I guess, fear is not worth selling out your civil liberties?
Well, I think what you find is anytime there's a crisis, Rahm Emanuel put it well, let no crisis be wasted. Big government, grows its role in your life during a crisis, whether that be a war, a real war, or a decades-long war on terror, or whether it be the pandemic. Out of each of these different crises, government grows in control of your life. And I think it's become pretty clear to people, particularly as we have more and more mandates, either through work or employment, on being vaccinated, wearing masks, all of the things they're mandating on us. It shows they really aren't too concerned with our own personal freedom. We knew the Democrats wanted to control our economic life, but now we know they want to control our medical life or our personal freedom. You're finding people like Jonathan Isaac, I think, had some interviews that I've watched recently, the Orlando Magic player, the NBA player, who says, look, I'm 23, I already had COVID.
Right.
A study out of Israel said that 2.5 million people they looked at that people who had gotten the disease naturally were protected 7 times greater from being in the hospital or dying. Why doesn't he have a right to make a decision? Why doesn't a nurse or a doctor that's already had COVID have the right to make a decision that they already have immunity and they don't really feel like getting the vaccine? So there's a lot of this stuff that's coming, and the question is, will it ever go away? On the spending front, most of these things are going to be entitlements. Entitlement spending, once it comes, never goes away. So I do worry about this. We have to fight back. We'll fight through the electoral process in 2022.
Absolutely.
But in the meantime, we've got to try to stop them, as best we can, with not having the numbers in the majority now.
You think you'll be able to do it? You think they'll be able to stop it? I mean, fundamentally, this spending bill could change our nation. The way it really, truly is a radical spending bill.
We're going to do everything we can to stop it, but the numbers in the Senate are tied,
Right.
50-50. And so some of what happens depends on 2 Democrats, Sinema and Manchin, who have been pushing back. What they're pushing for is half as bad, but still as bad. They're pushing for another $1.5 trillion in spending as opposed to 3.5. But you can say, gosh, that's a lot better than 3.5. But another $1.5 trillion also will lead to inflation, will lead to massive increase in debt, and isn't good for the country.
I agree with you.
The bill also is going to raise taxes on businesses, investors, and really the Joint Tax Committee just came out and said, really people making $25,000 to $50,000, people making $50,000 to $75,000 are going to have increased taxes because of this. We've also discovered that there's a new welfare program through a refundable child tax credit that will actually go to illegal aliens as well, that you don't even have to be in the country legally to apply for this new welfare program.